Shalom everyone. It's time to get in and get out. I call it boiling. We're going to prepare in our slow cooker today turkey chops and stuffing rice. Let's get it cooking. Here I have my pre-seasoned turkey chops that were cleaned and seasoned prior to me putting them into the freezer. I simply put on them salt, pepper, and poultry seasoning and froze them. Defrosted them first. It took about 2 days in the refrigerator for them to defrost for me to utilize them in this recipe. I've got my gloves to protect my hands, and of course a slow cooker liner, some shears for my beef broth that will be added to the chicken broth. Here is my gravy mix with a little bit of ghee in it. And in these containers we have onion flakes, celery seed, lemon pepper seasoning without salt, ground black peppercorns, Himalayan sea salt, garlic, and a mixture of parsley, sage, thyme, and rosemary. This is a 1/4 cup of butter melted. Back here we have our premium breadcrumbs or mixture for stuffing. We have a cup of brown rice, bell peppers, onions, and the juice from both in here, and also a 1/2 cup of frozen celery, which I cut up and put into the freezer and freeze it for later usage. Now let's get this recipe going. Of course, first of all, I will put on my gloves. Now the first thing I want to do is put my liner into the crock. This is another step that makes the cleanup so much easier. You just take this bag out and discard it and move on to your next dish. And I'm only pulling it tight like this until I get all of the ingredients put into the crock. So the first ingredients I'm going to add will be those breadcrumbs. And on top of that, I will add in my cup of brown rice. Next, 1/2 cup of chopped celery. And again, I cut it up and froze it. 1/2 cup of my onion and bell pepper mix with the juice, because these also are frozen. I believe in working smart, not hard. Now, my mixture of the rosemary, parsley, thyme, and sage goes in. This is 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And this is 1 teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt, but I'm only going to utilize 1/2 of it right now. The same thing goes for the peppercorns that I have ground. I will utilize 1/2 of that. I will put in all of my lemon pepper seasoning, celery seed, and my onion flakes. Now, of course, keep in mind that when you're putting in your seasonings, you put in what you want to put in that satisfies your palate. Here's my 1/4 cup of melted butter. And here's a cup of chicken broth. But before I add that in, I will add to the chicken broth some beef broth. And then just pour it over the mix in the crock. All I'm going to do is stir this up a little, just to ensure that the breadcrumbs are moistened. And for those who would also like to Add 1 egg or 2 eggs. I would say 1 egg to this amount, if you like, to hold it together better. But I, of course, am bypassing the egg. So I'm just going to press this out in the crock to flatten it out. Let's move these bell peppers. That man does not like bell peppers and onions and vegetables that much. And this time I had an I don't care attitude. I want to get in the kitchen, get it done, get out. Yes, I could have chopped it up, but I wanted to see some vegetables in my dish this time. He can just pick it out and not eat it. So now the next thing we're going to do is, I've already seasoned my turkey. So all we have to do is put the turkey into the crock. Just like that. And as you can see, they're very thick. So slow cooking them will give them the opportunity to marinate and become tenderized and very seasoned, making them super delicious when they're done. That's enough to feed actually 6 or 7 people, and maybe 8 because they're so thick. Now, the next thing we're going to do is pour the gravy mixture over the chops. Sprinkle just a little bit more pepper. I will not be utilizing any more salt because I do not want the dish to be too salty. As far as this bag is concerned, I will pull it back up and over, just like that. That is all that I need to do. I will cover my antique crock pot slow cooker fry pan with its lid and simply turn it on to a low setting of around 250. For someone who would be utilizing a newer crock pot, you would simply put it on low. And it will cook slowly with this vented top for 4 to 6 hours. I will come back and show you the end result of this wonderful, simple, easy, and delicious dish of turkey chops and stuffing rice. And here at the end of our slow cooker crock pot meal, the piece to resistance. I put it all on a platter, and I also added a can of already prepared turkey gravy, a few grape tomatoes, and garnished with some romaine lettuce. Now I can take it to the table that's already set, and the family can eat and get out of my face. Because I have what? Gotten in, gotten it done, and got out. I call that boiling, baby. Bon appetit.